Interludes are this thing where music artists will make a perfect album and then are like, actually, let me just ruin it. I want to put in a poem I wrote on Astrid between every 3 tracks. Some days, you're the whole pizza pie. Other days, you're just the pepperoni. Thank the Lord you're not the anchovy.
Could you maybe tell us what that means? Okay.
If you don't know what interludes are, I like to define them as tracks with the main purpose of moving the album forward. Now, when I say moving forward, this can be something as simple as providing a smooth transition between tracks. For example, perhaps I might say something stupid provides an emotional cooldown lap between the 2 high-energy dance tracks, Sympathy is a Knife and Talk Talk. A problem I have with some dance albums is that as good as the individual songs may be, the entire album just feels like an hour of constant stimulation. But the addition of Charlie's interlude makes Brat a more nuanced journey than most other albums of its genre. Another way an interlude can move an album forward is narratively. The Gerard Carmichael interlude on Igor reveals one of the first shifts in the seemingly sweet relationship that Tyler is seeking. What he's run from are relationships in which the feelings are very one-sided. I see this as Tyler's relationship with his father, someone he seeks affection from, but he's constantly disappointed every time he's reminded of his absence. As the album progresses, we see that's exactly what Tyler's chased, as his lover ignores his codependent need for love and only hooks up when it's convenient for him. This quote could also refer to Tyler's sexuality, as it's something he's historically avoided, and now he's chasing a male partner. People either love or hate interludes. And I just want everyone to get along and be friends. They're such an interesting part of music because you can honestly do whatever you want with it. Main tracks need to hold their own weight and have some melodic quality, but the interludes are like the Wild West. Anything is fair game. You want to include a sermon delivered by a controversial celebrity preacher? Yeah, sure, go ahead, Lana. Jokes aside, everybody. I love interludes because they can relatively be anything. They contribute to the unique personality of each album and allow the artist to step outside their comfort zone and experiment without sacrificing an entire track. However, I can definitely understand why people skip them. Like, if I was on aux with my friends in the car and the Ready to Die sex interlude came up, then I am getting kicked out of the car. If you want to listen to music, you're gonna skip any spoken word or comedic interlude. And that's kind of weird to say. They're on an album and therefore they should be considered music. In this sense, you might say that interludes have ruined music by turning into a more poetic or narrative art. It all kind of depends on what you want out of it. If you seek simple auditory pleasure, then you're just a stupid idiot baby that can't appreciate true art and culture. And hey, that's okay. Babies are pretty cool. But if you're a distinguished gentleman who believes albums are ways for artists to make a statement about society through the arrangement of individual narratives, then interludes are your bread and butter. A common denominator across most interludes is that they're all pretty short and sweet, with typically maxing out around 2 minutes. Except if you're Kendrick and you disguise entire songs as interludes, the To Pimp a Butterfly interludes are pretty insane, with 4 Free being a barrage of fast rhymes, all in the smooth jazz vocal tone that I haven't heard replicated in any other songs of his. By saying this dick ain't free, he's not only saying that he's a high value item, hands off Drake, I'm looking at you.
Hey, Kendrick is up in his mouth. And I'm about to put my dick in it right now. Then I put it in his ass. Now he running butt naked all over my house.
He's telling the music industry that he can't easily be taken advantage of as most black celebrities are when they first become successful. He's much more valuable than they're making him out to be, especially since he and his black ancestors already contributed to the wealth of the white 1%. Later on the album, For Sale transfers the listener to this dreamlike realm, where Kendrick is going to the mall with this girl named Lucy. As you can probably guess, this is a metaphor. The American industry is walking Kendrick around the mall, tempting him with all these things that he could buy, such as a giant mansion or the ability to move his mom out of Compton. All he has to do is sign a simple little contract, which is actually a Faustian bargain. It juxtaposes his sister interlude by showing Kendrick carelessly indulging in wealth, when for free, he was a little more cautious of the implications that come with being a successful black man. It reflects the motif of duality that is included in many Kendrick albums, and is rooted in his Gemini astrological sign. Duality plays an important role in Car Seat Headrest Twin Fantasy, featuring the interlude, Stop Smoking, We Love You. It's a fitting lead-in to the track Sober to Death, where the narrator is trying to relieve his love interest's anxieties in rehab. The later track, High to Death, features a reprise of the interlude, where the lyrics are changed to Keep smoking, but I don't want to die, instead of Stop smoking, we don't want you to die. This track is from the love interest point of view, as he's overdosed and is riding on the verge of death. Reprises are kind of a rare thing in music albums, and are more based in musical theater. However, Blonde features Andre 3000 performing a reprise of Solo. Including another narrative voice does a lot to enrich an album, and alters the meaning of a song compared to if it were performed by the main artist. The final line strikes an emotional chord being delivered by Andre because it depicts him looking at his illustrious career and regretting a lot of the grueling work he put in because so many artists have just flown to the top with the aid of ghostwriters. The entire song is surrounded with this nihilistic theme that no matter how hard you try, it just doesn't seem to matter. It fits with the bull and matador metaphor in the original Solo, where Andre is chasing something that means a lot to him, but once you get there, the matador pulls away the cape and there's nothing there. He tried, all for nothing. I love Yebba's Heartbreak. It's beautiful, but I think it serves poorly as an interlude. It literally shares nothing in common with the tracks that sandwich it. Not thematically, not sound-wise, not even singer-wise. Yebba spills her heart out about how she's lost her lover, and it's too late to make up for all the mistakes she's made. On top of that, some of the lyrics resemble the vows one would make at a wedding. A wedding she can't have because her lover is gone. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
And then Drake just comes in and is like, "Hey yo, I hate all my coworkers. Steve Lacy, you're a fragile ass." LeBron, I cried when you went to the prop out. I cried. Pharrell, you just get my gears a grinding. Take that. I melted your chain. What are you gonna do now, bro? My only friend? Hey, you know who you are. XQC.
Embarrassing!
I would like Certified Lover Boy more if the track list were just arranged in a different order. Because every song just feels out of place. Like if Champagne Poetry was right after Yebba's Heartbreak, it would be a great interlude. Conceptually, Yebba's Heartbreak could be the win. Yeah! Well, Champagne Poetry could be the reception where the lyrics are delivered as a speech. Whoa. Maybe I could be Drake. Who would be better to deliver an interlude on Kendrick's album about family than his very own cousin? He subverts the comfortable and warm feelings we associate with domestic environments and replaces them with scenes of violence and crime. This demonstrates the tough realities he and Kendrick faced growing up. I think it's really great Baby Keem was included on the project because it reveals perspectives and situations that Kendrick may not have been aware of. There's a shift about halfway through the song where Keem mentions being called the new prophet. Now he's struggling to maintain this vision that his fans have set for him. His recent success mimics Kendrick's situation being called the voice of the BLM movement. Kendrick shares his own experience with these heavy labels in the following song. Being labeled as a savior changes how people view you. You're no longer a human like everyone else. You need to be perfect in every way, and if you slip, there will be knives at your throat. I think I've proven my point that interludes can be just as, if not more dense than most songs. But I couldn't do that without including Communist Daughter. It's got a lot of weird and sexual lyrics that are actually pretty interesting when you dive below the surface. The whole project analyzes adolescent lust, framed in the setting of World War II. This track focuses on the male perversion of the world and how even something as mundane as snow on mountaintops can be hypersexualized. My favorite interpretation of this track is that the Communist Daughter refers to Poland as it was conquered by Russia and turned into a baby version of the Soviet Union. The interlude refers to both the violent and sexual atrocities committed by the Soviets towards the Poles. Or the Communist Daughter could just be Anne Frank. Did you know that this album is about Anne Frank? Did you? It's not just lyrics that can make an interlude dense, but the instrumentation too. There are certain emotions that cannot be captured through words, and instruments can play the role in shaping these elusive feelings. Instrumental interludes feel like these raw moments where the artist is directly communicating with the listener. There's no references or figurative language to understand. It's simply just feeling. Team by Bon Iver feels like he's reached nirvana, like he's waking up one day with the hope that everything's gonna be okay. It's the sun peeking through the clouds on a dark winter day. The previous song, Creature Fear, seamlessly leads into this track. Creature Fear is this anxiety about the future that takes you over to the point where you let it sabotage the future. Justin Vernon is worried that's what he's done with the relationship that ended prior to this album. Team could either be the beautiful future that could come out of this relationship if Vernon wasn't ridden with fear, or the realization that the breakup will in fact make Vernon better off. Mark's interlude from Ants from Up There makes me feel like that scene in Ratatouille when the food critic eats the ratatouille. Huh. That was weird. I dogged on Donda in the last video, and I'll do it again, too. When I first heard Donda chat, I was like, alright, this is it. Kanye's completely lost it. There is no bringing him back. And then my friend explained to me that the repetition of Selena Johnson saying Donda represents Kanye's mother's dying heartbeat. Let's frickin' go! 10 out of 10 album of the year. Kanye is back in better than ever. Magdalena Bay hits us with the best interlude of 2024. It's supposed to be an infomercial that introduces the listener to the Imaginal Disc, a device one inserts into their head in order to become their ideal self. It's a clever piece of exposition that doesn't feel shoehorned in. It leads the narrative into image where the protagonist sits in the waiting room waiting to get the disc implanted into her. Here she has a devil on her shoulder trying to convince her to undergo the surgery, much like the persuasive voices of the previous infomercial. There are some songs in which the interlude is embedded at the end of the track. So, I guess that would make the entire song an interlude. Then, To Pimp a Butterfly would be an album full of interludes. And since albums can be seen as interludes, I guess Cherry Bomb isn't a bad album, it's just an interlude between Wolf's toxic male monologue and Flower Boy's revelation that Tyler's gay. Most Def is an interlude from Dante Smith to Yazin Bey. Meet the Fockers is an interlude for Little Fockers. Cocoon, an interlude for Butterfly. Was Joe Biden's presidency just an interlude for Trump's second term? Is this video just an interlude for my next one? Hey, what's up, players? It's your boy, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Taylor Swift's steamy and intimate romance with the 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon. I know this may come as a surprise to many of you, as she was just recently dating the Red Hawk, but in her most recent song, she laments. Yes, he may be a crook, but the only thing he's guilty of is stealing my heart. There you have it, folks. Evidence is right there. Look and see.